Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Messy Studio. I appreciate everybody showing up. I really do. So, I was asked to take a part in a collab. I don't usually do these sorts of things, but I was asked to take a part of the collab. I believe it's hashtag Blame It on the Gnome. It's hosted by Connie's Creative Creations, co-hosted by Robin's Buys and DIYs. And speaking of the devil, we've got the co-host in the house tonight. As is usual, when I do my live scrolling, she's in here to read the comments for me, and it helps me out quite a bit. Hello, Copper. Hello, Bill. Again, it's Mr. Neelan, sir. Y'all check out Harnell Media, one of my sponsors. For all your web needs, or website needs. He's fabulous website guy. I can't say enough about him. I really can't. He's that good, and he's so attentive, and he charges less than anybody else out there as far as I know, from what I've found. So check him out, harnellmedia.com. Much appreciated. Hello, Larry. Okay, without further ado, I'm not going to drag this on for minutes and minutes like a lot of people do. We've got a lot to do and a short time to do it in. Okay, so basically this isn't anything special. It's a piece of 2x2 pine construction material. No fancy wood here. I'm going to turn a gnome. I'm going to do it quick. I didn't want anything that was going to blow up on me. This still might. You never know. So let's get at it. You noticed it was square when I started. Crank the speed up, about 1200 RPM. I'm going straight in with the skew. Why? Because I love this tool. See how it just knocks those corners right down off of there? And here in a little bit, it'll be round. A lot of people are afraid of the skew. I don't know why. Yeah, I do. I'm not sure it catches. It can be tricky to learn, but once you figure out how it cuts, that is not that big a deal. Now I've been making shearing cuts with this right now. There's a couple of different cuts you can make with the skew. One of them is a planing cut, where you introduce it to the piece and you plane it right on down. Just like that. Problem with a planing cut on some woods, like softwoods like this pine, is it leaves a relatively rough edge, and you can see here what I'm talking about. It's a little bit rough if you look up in this camera right here. This one. It's a little rough. This is a little bit rough, but not too bad, and it's round now, so we're good.
Cool.
That's what I was after. Now, got to be careful so I don't run into the chuck. Now I'm going to take it a little bit slower. I was just peeling material off before. I want to go in with a slower cut and try to smooth this up a little bit. Another thing what?
Does the overhead camera zoom?
Unfortunately, no. Another thing I like about the skew is if it's sharp enough, which I think this one is.
Jerry's here and he says, hey, what the gnome is going on in here?
Hey, Jerry. Thing I like about the skew is if your tool is sharp, when you're through, look at that finish. You barely need to sand because it's just so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I love this tool. I love it. Okay, now I want to start defining my gnome. I'm going to give him a bottom. I don't want him too round on the bottom, but I want him a little bit. I'm removing some material over here so it's out of the way. Best I can. So I'm going to round his little bottom a little bit, and the rest of it's going to be, when I part that off, I'll just part it straight up.
Barry's here. Hi, Barry.
Hey, Barry. Who else have I missed? Anybody? You doing all right, Jerry? Okay. I said I'm going to make him about 3 inches tall, so I'm going to come in about right here for half. Real smooth cut here, so don't have to do any more sanding now. I'm just going to cut it in half here. I want to undercut that hat a little bit, so what I'm going to need, my little detail gouge. I'm coming in here with a detail gouge to undercut this hat just a little.
How much pressure do you put on the tool?
Not a lot. You want to let the tool do the work. So you just introduce the cutting edge and let it do the work. That way you don't have to. If you have to push hard when you're turning something, now really hard woods you have to use a little more pressure sometimes, but with something like this pine, if you just introduce the cutting edge, it'll do a good enough job and you don't have to worry about it. I think I want him a little more round. He was looking a little too obtuse for my liking. Okay. Now I'll come in and start paring down the material for the hat. With a skew and soft wood like this, you can make cuts like this going the other direction if you want to make flowers, because by the time you get down to where you're at, these look like the flower petals of some flowers. You just do that over and over again and end up with a flower.
Cool.
Just a little side note there. And I'm just removing material. Try not to get too carried away. Using just enough pressure to get the job done. I'm going to make this little pointy hat. I don't know how tall I'm going to make it yet. Whatever it turns out, it turns out. I could have done this. Beg your pardon?
It's so neat to see both angles.
Cool. I could have done this between centers instead of chucking it up, but since it fit in the jaws nicely, I went ahead and chucked it just because it's going to be more secure, especially when I get down to the end of the hat and I make it the final dimension up here, so I can move the tailstock out of the way and make it nice and round and sand it all good.
Cindy Kia is here. Hi, Cindy.
Hello, Cindy. Welcome to the Messy Studio. Yeah, you can't see the floor. It's just a mess. Always is. I was going to clean up last night, but my big air compressor died on me. I still haven't figured out what's wrong with it.
Larry asked, will center punches disassemble 10 kits if you have to?
They're not center punches, Larry. You want to use a transfer punch, the set from Harbor Freight. And I didn't even need to part it off. It fell off all on its by. All on its by, all on its own. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this out because if I don't, I will sure as the world let my elbow into it and I'll end up bleeding all over the shop. I don't want to do that.
Again?
Yeah, well, I do that enough as it is. Now, y'all are going to have a hard time seeing it from the big camera because what I'm doing is I'm stabilizing the back of this with my fingers as I finish the cut down here. And I'm doing that because if I was to try to just cut it without the back support, this would flex too much and I run the risk of breaking it. But as it is, you see how nice and pointy it came out?
Yeah.
That's because I supported the cut back here. He looks a little tall to me. The hat is about what I want. Oh my gosh. Look at the finish I got off the skew. It doesn't need sanding at all.
Huh.
Because it's just that good. It needs no sanding.
It looks like
Now,
there's a design.
Yeah, that's the grain of the wood.
Oh.
Okay. Is he a little tall? Maybe not. Now, I do have some rough stuff there. I've got some tear out. So I'm going to try to take care of that.
Cindy said she spilled resin all over the garage floor yesterday. So hers is pretty messy too.
That will happen.
Larry said, that's what I got. The 28-piece set of transfer punches. Thanks, Mr. Billy.
No problem.
Richard Keelan's here and says, evening, Billy and everyone.
Hey, Richard. Welcome. See if I cleaned that up any. Some. One more time. I have a feeling that I'm going to be spending more time. Well, that pine doesn't want to cut nice right there for me. So I got a feeling this video, because see, I'm basically done with it except for parting it off and the decorating. It's going to take me longer to decorate this guy than it did for me to turn it. But I didn't intend for this to be a very long video anyway, because I get bored with long turning lives, and I don't know if anybody else does either. But
I think they like to chat.
Right, that was 100 grit.
At the bottom of the gnome, it's square. Are you keeping it square?
Bottom of the gnome.
Like at the bottom, or is that coming off?
Right here or down here?
Yeah, down there.
No, I'm parting it off right here.
Oh, okay.
I don't really need to go much finer than 100 grit because I'm going to be painting this little darling.
What number is that?
I think this is 120. 120 or 150.
Bill says, I do too, Billy.
And now 220. You do too what, Bill?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think he probably gets bored with long turning videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Mike's here. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike. What's going on, pal? Okay, sanded it to 220. That's just about right. The rest of it looks good. See, I didn't sand this down here at all. The finish with the skew is good enough. I just So I'm parting this guy off, and I'm going to undercut it just a little bit so that it will sit flat and it won't rock or it won't rock or wobble. I'll be all right in a minute, folks, honest. Now, I may have to... Aha! Ooh, ugly cut, but it's okay because nobody's going to see the bottom. And that's the problem with with softwoods like this. When you go to part them off, they end up getting, let me put it over here. It's just really, really ugly. Throw it up here in the bigger camera if I can get to the lens. You can see how rough that is on the bottom.
Yeah.
But it's not going to matter because, oh yeah, it sits just fine. I undercut it. It's not going to matter because I'm going to hit that with hot glue and I'm going to glue it to my fairy house. So this is my fairy house. I did this for a challenge / competition, and I will put the description. I'll put the description in the description. I'll put the link to that in the description below, and I will also put a link to my fairy house video in the description below. Now y'all can see that. I'm just gonna.
Bill says Robin should be there decorating it for you, Billy. And Fenrica Woodstuff says, quality piece, Billy.
Thank you, sir.
And Larry says, don't tell John C.
Yeah, exactly, Larry. Right now I'm putting the paint on the underside of this little hat.
You're going to paint his hat yellow?
I'm painting this hat yellow because I don't want it to clash with the roof of the... I could use red or green or any color I wanted to, really. But I don't really want it to clash with, because there's reds everywhere. But I thought yellow because it won't clash with the roof. Because the roof is yellow. And you're still going to be able to see the wood grain underneath this paint. Unless I put like 3 or 4 coats on, and I don't intend to do that. You notice I am painting in the direction of the wood grain. Okay, that's all the paint it's getting.
Was that just one coat?
That was one coat.
That's really good. It looks good.
For those wanting to know what glue I use Gorilla hot glue. I really like it. Got to do the hot glue dance.
Just don't get yourself.
Get myself what?
With the hot glue.
Yeah, not a worry. There's his little nose. I went ahead and made the nose earlier. I'll put him up here a little bit closer so y'all can see him.
Cute.
I made the nose earlier from a dowel. Basically what I did was I sanded the end round and on my belt sander, and then I cut it off on my scroll saw. This is the fur that I'm going to use for his beard. I don't know if you can see that. And because it runs this way, I'm going to use it that way. Okay, now I'll weed my beard material a little bit to get rid of all the fuzzies.
Are you going to give him a little outfit?
No, but I was thinking about painting his backside. What color should I paint his backside? Blue?
Can you hold the thing down a little bit closer so we can see what you're doing?
Sorry, I was trying to see what I was doing. I use hot glue for waste blocks as well, or to glue pieces to a faceplate. I've not had a problem with the Gorilla Glue at all.
How do you know how much paint to take out of the bottle?
I dip my brush, and when it looks right, I know it's okay. Again, one coat, that's all I need.
I feel like you can paint it very easily.
No, I want to come in about halfway, and I'm going to cut a small V. First, I'm going to make a cut at the halfway mark, and then I'm going to cut a small V out of there. I need to go a little deeper because I want to go all the way up to the hat with this beard. Because this is a furry gnome. Okay, yeah, that's going to work. So now, apply just a touch of hot glue there. Don't need much. It's like grill cream, a little dab will do you.
Steve C says, Billy, you've got to at least paint their boots because we all know that fairies wear boots.
It's a gnome, it's not a fairy.
No, I think he meant the fairies.
Oh, that is so cool. I am digging it. See? I've got to trim him up some, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to give him a haircut?
Yeah, I got to give him a haircut.
I feel like it's too wide.
It won't be when I'm done. I need to trim it to shape. So I think I'm going to do this. So there's my gnome.
Oh, cute. He's adorable.
Now, what all I have to do, only thing left is to figure out where to put him. I don't know where I want it. That's the problem. Actually, he don't look too bad right there. He's not really hiding the door much. Okay, done.
Cool, he looks awesome.
That's my fairy house. So I appreciate y'all coming along. I do. I knew this was going to be a quick turn-in. I didn't know how long it was going to take me to decorate it and do everything else. But again, I really appreciate it. Remember, check out my sponsors. They'll be in the link below, in the description below as well. Cardio Media, fantastic. I didn't use any super glue on this project, but Starbond Premium Superglues, great stuff. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all have a great, great weekend. And if I don't talk to you between now and then, have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And as always, live, laugh, love. Thank you so very much, Robin, for reading the chat. I appreciate it. Y'all come back.